Okay, so have you ever walked into a fabric store? You
Yeah.
know, maybe just looking for some thread or a button or something,
Mm.
and you just get hit by this wall of fabric. Like rolls and rolls of colorful options.
Totally.
It's a lot, right? Like, where do you even begin?
Yeah, it can be pretty overwhelming if you don't
Right.
know what you're looking for.
Exactly. But for textile specialized sellers, that wall of fabric, it's like their
It's their
domain.
thing. They live and breathe
They
textiles.
speak the language of textiles, and that's actually what we're diving deep into today.
We are. And we're going beyond just the basics.
Yeah.
This isn't just about knowing the difference between like cotton and silk or anything.
Right.
This is about understanding the nuances of all these different fabrics,
Yeah.
knowing how they drape, how durable they are, and then ultimately, how to help someone find that perfect material to make their vision a reality.
It's almost like being a fabric therapist.
Mm, right?
Totally. Like you're helping people through these major textile decisions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this career a little bit. What does a day in the life of a textile specialized seller actually look like?
Okay, so imagine this. 1 minute you're working with a seasoned fashion designer. They might need a very specific type of fabric with just the right drape for like a couture gown.
Okay.
And then the next minute, you're helping a nervous bride-to-be navigate through like a sea of tulle and lace, trying to find the perfect fabric for her wedding dress.
Wow. So talk about a range of customers and projects.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You need some serious people skills for that, I imagine.
You do, 100%. But then on top of that, you also need that deep well of textile knowledge.
Because you have to be able to explain to people why one type of silk, for example, might be perfect for an evening gown, but maybe not so much for like children's clothes, you know?
I see what you mean.
So that's when understanding things like drape, how the fabric falls and folds, and durability, how well it can stand up to wear and tear, that becomes so important.
So it's a real blend of artistry and practicality.
For sure.
And of course, customer service.
Absolutely. You've got to bring it all together.
So speaking of the demands of the job, what kind of work environment can someone expect in this field?
Mm.
I'm already picturing these bustling fabric stores, rolls and rolls of fabric stacked from floor to ceiling,
Yeah.
the scent of dyes and thread in the air.
You're right there. It's definitely a sensory experience, that's for sure.
Okay.
And it can be pretty physically demanding, too.
Really?
Right.
In what way?
Well, you're on your feet a lot, for one.
I guess so.
You're constantly handling these heavy bolts of fabric, maybe even climbing up ladders
Right.
to reach those top shelves, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I can see how that would be a workout.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you've got those peak seasons. I mean, I bet things get pretty intense,
Yeah,
like around Halloween, for example.
totally. You can get a little crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Anytime you've got people scrambling for that last-minute fabric, for costumes or holiday decor or whatever, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, I bet. So being organized and knowing how to adapt on the fly, that's got to be key.
It really is.
Mm.
But even with those hectic moments, there's also this real sense of community. You're building relationships with your regulars,
Right.
maybe even becoming their go-to textile guru, the one they always come to for advice.
That's cool. Yeah, there's something really satisfying about that, I think, like being a trusted source of knowledge.
Totally.
Wow.
Okay, so we've talked about the day-to-day, the skills, the work environment. Now let's get down to it.
Yeah, let's talk practicality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is this career path right for you? What are some of the pros and cons you should be thinking about?
All right, let's start with the good stuff.
All right, so on the plus side, the demand for textiles, it's pretty much always high.
Yeah.
People are always going to need clothes, home decor, you name it.
That's true.
So job security is a definite perk. And as we've kind of touched on,
Mm-hmm.
there's that huge creative element too.
Yeah.
You're helping people bring their visions to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that can be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, I get that, for sure. There's something so satisfying about seeing a project come together, especially when you've played a part in sourcing that perfect fabric or whatever.
That's exactly.
Okay, but let's be real.
Right. No sugarcoating.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
What about the challenges? What are some of the downsides to this career?
Okay. Yeah. Good point. So what are some of those potential drawbacks?
Well, for one thing, competition can be fierce.
I bet. Especially in bigger cities, I'm guessing.
Exactly. You've got all these talented textile professionals vying for those same opportunities. And like we talked about earlier, the physical demands, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah. You need stamina for sure.
Absolutely. You're going to be on your feet a lot, lifting heavy things, dealing with those occasional chaotic rushes. It's not for everybody.
Definitely not. So it sounds like you need to be okay with those things right off the bat.
100%. But here's the thing. Even though this is a well-established field, it's been around forever, there's also a lot of room for growth and specialization. Oh, interesting. Okay, so tell me more about that. How does somebody move beyond the entry level in this career? Like, what does that trajectory look like?
So let's say you start as a textile sales assistant.
Right.
You're learning the ropes, getting some mentorship from maybe a more seasoned pro.
Okay.
Then, as you gain more experience, you become more confident.
Yeah?
You become a textile sales associate.
Okay.
At that point, you start to build your own clientele, maybe even have some input on the store's visual merchandising.
So you're not just stuck behind the counter anymore, right? Like you're actually contributing to the look and feel of the place.
Exactly. You become more like a trusted advisor, a style guru.
Dude, I can see how that would appeal to the right person.
Okay.
Someone with an eye for design.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you're really ambitious, if you're driven, you could keep climbing that ladder. You could become a textile sales supervisor, leading a team, managing inventory, really driving those sales.
Wow.
And then who knows? Maybe one day you're the textile store manager, you're calling the shots, or you've even launched your own textile business.
Now that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a sec. We're living in a digital age. So how does a career like this, a traditionally hands-on career, how does that adapt to the world of e-commerce, online shopping? Like those two worlds seem like they'd be bumping into each other more and more these days. That's the question, isn't it? Like how does this traditional career path, it's got to adapt to this whole online world, right?
Exactly. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also a huge opportunity.
Okay, so how so?
Well, think about it. Online platforms, they can actually help textile sellers,
Yeah, how so?
Well, suddenly you're not limited by location anymore.
Right, you could be working with customers all over the place.
Right. Exactly. Like you could be giving advice to someone across the country or even on the other side of the world.
Wow. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And that expertise that a textile seller have, that can translate so well to online content.
Okay, I see what you mean. Like writing really compelling product descriptions.
Exactly. Like you said, not just describing the fabric, but really capturing it.
Yeah.
What
does it feel like?
The texture, the drape, the way it moves.
So they almost become like textile storytellers.
Yes, exactly. Taking those tactile qualities and bringing them to life online.
I love that. And then there's the whole visual side of things, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like a textile specialized seller could become an influencer.
Absolutely. Sharing their knowledge through videos, tutorials.
Even like live fabric shopping experiences. I bet people would love that.
Oh, totally. It's all about being creative and understanding how to connect with people in this digital space.
It's so interesting, right? Because we've got these online fabric stores popping up left and right now. It seems like there's a real opportunity there for textile specialized sellers.
There really is.
Yeah.
Like they could partner with these businesses or even start their own online shops.
Exactly. Like it's a natural progression, almost.
I think so. And it really speaks to that adaptability that's so key in this field.
Yeah, like no matter what, the core skills are always going to be there.
Exactly. Knowing your textiles, connecting with people, guiding them towards the best choice. That's always going to be important.
Whether you're in a physical store or online.
Exactly. The setting might change, but the essence of the job, it stays the same.
So I think we started out thinking about this as like a deep dive into this one specific career. Right.
But it's really become something more than that, hasn't it?
It has. We're talking about the evolution of a whole industry.
Exactly. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
Because there's so much potential.
Yeah.
For people with passion, creativity, and a real love for textiles.
Couldn't agree more. So if you're listening to this and you're feeling that little tug, that spark of interest, don't ignore it.
Go for it, I say.
Yeah.
The world of textiles. It's vast. It's always changing. There's so much to explore.
Exactly. So keep learning. Keep that curiosity alive.
And who knows? Maybe we'll see you out there in the world of textiles.
That's right. You just might.
All right, folks.
What's that?
Until next time, happy exploring.